Nancy Pelosi at it again, saying if the Democrats gain control of Congress in November, then they would revisit the new Republican tax law. Here she is.
I do think that we should revisit tax legislation in the way that we always have, in a bipartisan, transparent way, that the result is unifying for the country.
Republicans are jumping all over this, promising to put Pelosi in every campaign ad in the coming months, warning Americans that their taxes will go up. And President Trump tweeting after last night's Republican primaries, the economy is so strong, and with Nancy Pelosi wanting to end the big tax cuts and raise taxes, why wouldn't we win? Good question. Joining me right now, Fox News contributor Deneen Borelli. Deneen, good to see you.
Hey, Trish, good to see you.
All right, so Nancy Pelosi, continuing with her agenda that she so embraces and so loves, where somehow she's okay with everybody else paying taxes. Because you know what? If you're as wealthy as Nancy Pelosi, it probably doesn't matter, right? But it does matter to working Americans. And if their taxes are going to go up as a result of a change in leadership, that won't be good for the economy. It won't be good for them. Is this a message that Americans care enough about right now, Deneen?
Oh, absolutely. And listen, if Nancy Pelosi thinks that taking money from hardworking Americans and their families and raising taxes is a good idea, I say keep talking, Nancy Pelosi, because Americans will be voting with their wallets, and the Democrats will have to explain why they did not support the tax cuts that millions of Americans are benefiting from because they're getting higher wages and they're getting bonuses, perhaps the first time getting a bonus for themselves and their families. So as they say, they have a lot of explaining to do, I would say.
Why is she even doing this then? I mean, think about that. And by the way, Deneen, I mean, I was talking about this last night on with Neil as we watched these primary results. The parties have increasingly gotten kind of convoluted, right? I mean, sort of the traditional values of traditional conservatives have in some ways sort of gone to the side. And I think that the sort of working class that has typically been represented by Democrats has been picked up by Donald Trump. But you look at Nancy Pelosi, and she doesn't seem to have a whole lot in common with the working class, nor does she seem to have the right kind of empathy for the working class. And I would just say, is this really like that smart? Why the heck is she talking about raising people's taxes when she's trying to get elected and trying to get her colleagues elected?
Sure. Well, it just shows you how disconnected the Democrats are. Remember, the 2016 election was about jobs and the economy, and the Democrats still have not picked up on that message. But again, Nancy Pelosi is an elite. We've heard her say that the benefits and the bonuses that people are getting are nothing but crumbs. I mean, that's a hit and a half for a lot of Americans to recognize how detached people like Nancy Pelosi really is, and that they don't have Americans' best interest at heart.
I'll tell you, Deneen, it's not helping the politicians that are running. I was looking at a story out of New Hampshire just yesterday, and there are 11 people running for Congress on the Democratic side. And every single one of them, Deneen, said that they would not support Nancy Pelosi in that position that she has. They are not buying what she's selling, because you know what? They know their constituents, they know the voters aren't buying what she's selling. So as a conservative, you must like it. In some ways, it helps your case, I suppose.
No, it's a beautiful thing. As a matter of fact, really, the Democrat Party is moving further to the left, and I think they're going to alienate a number of their base. You also have some black Americans who are taking another look at President Trump and his policies. Black males are supporting the president at 22%, so that's up and rising as well. Black unemployment is 6.6%. So slowly, their base is getting chipped away, and I think Americans have had enough with the elite leadership from the Democrat Party.
It's so fascinating to see, you know, Deneen, as I started this show, and we were talking about those 3 detainees in North Korea coming back to the U.S., we really are on the sidelines of history. And, you know, you could very well see a Republican Party that is remade to the Democrats' disadvantage because of these issues. Deneen Borelli.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, thanks, Trish.
Thank you.